What's up, everybody? Your boy Pat back again with another edition of Second Take, where I talk tech and I speak sports. Today's topic of the day is 23 records that Michael Jordan still currently owns.
This is a Heat Rocks production.
Now, before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell as it helps out the channel. Now, 23 records that Michael Jordan still currently owns. Keep in mind, this man has not played for the last 18 years, but still owns quite a few records. Some of these records I'm going to go over are more under the radar and records that you may not be aware of. So, without further ado, let's start. Number 1. Michael Jordan holds the record for most free throws and most free throws made in a half against the Miami Heat in 1992, 20 made free throws and 23 taken free throws. Number 2, 8 steals in a half. He's tied with one other NBA player, but he's done this 3 times. Number 3, he led the NBA in total points for 11 seasons. Number 4, he currently holds the NBA record for most points averaged in a season with 30.12, most points averaged for a playoff with 33.5, and most points averaged in a finals with 33.6 points per game. Coming in at number 5, he owns the record for the most points scored in one playoff game ever with 63 points versus the Boston Celtics. Number 6, he had 13 consecutive field goals in the 1991 finals versus the LA Lakers with no misses. Number 7, he had 24 field goals against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the playoffs in 1988, an NBA record. Number 8, in 1991 versus the Detroit Pistons, he had 13 free throws in one quarter in the playoffs. Number 9, he has the most points ever in a 3-game series. This record is actually unbreakable because the NBA does not play 3-game playoff series anymore. They play 5-game series and 7-game series. But he had 135 points during those 3 games, a 45-point average per game, and he also had 53 field goals during that 3-game stretch, also an NBA record. Number 10, he holds the record for the most points scored in a 5-game series with 226, which was a 45.2 average versus Cleveland in 1988. Number 11, he has the most 50-point games in playoff history with 8, the most 40-point games in playoff history with 38, the most 30-point games in playoff history with 109, and the most 20-point games in the playoffs with 173. Keep in mind, Michael Jordan played in 179 playoff games. Number 12, he's the only NBA player in NBA history to never score under 15 points in any playoff game. In fact, no one has ever scored at least 10 points or more in every playoff game in NBA history. Number 13, Michael Jordan is the only player in NBA history to go back-to-back for 50 during the playoffs. This was against Cleveland in 1988 when he scored 50 and 55. Number 14, Michael Jordan is the only player to ever score more than 45 points in a playoff game 3 consecutive times. Number 15, Michael Jordan has scored 20 points or more 60 times in a row in the NBA playoffs, an NBA record. Number 16, Michael Jordan is the only player ever to never score under 20 points in an NBA Finals game. In fact, Michael Jordan played in 35 games in the NBA Finals and was over 20 in each game. Number 17, Michael Jordan scored 35 points in an NBA Finals in a half against the Portland Trailblazers in 1992. Number 18, Michael Jordan holds the record for the most three-pointers ever in an NBA Finals in a half with 6. He also holds the record for the most field goals made in a half with 14. These were both done on the Portland Trailblazers in 1992. Number 19, he has the most free throws in a quarter in an NBA Finals game with 9. Number 20, he holds the record for the most points per game in an NBA Finals with 41 versus the Phoenix Suns in 1993. Number 21, he holds the record for 14 steals in a 5-game series in an NBA Finals, in which he accomplished this against the Los Angeles Lakers in 1991. Number 22, he has 131 blocks in a season. That is the most ever by a guard in NBA history. In fact, he was the first player ever to have 200 steals and 100 blocks in the same season. Hakeem Olajuwon and Scottie Pippen would do this later in their careers, but Jordan would actually accomplish this another time. He's the only player to ever do it twice. And number 23, let's not leave out Michael Jordan's Washington Wizard years. He's the only player to score 40 after the age of 40, and he did it twice. But before I go, I have one bonus for you. He is the oldest player ever to score 50 points in a game at 38 years and 315 days. And one last bonus, Michael Jordan is the only perimeter player in NBA history to score 30 points per game while shooting over 50% from the field 5 times. Other players have done it at least once. He's the only player to do it 5 times. Shout out to everybody rocking with me on Instagram, YouTube, the Anchor app. You can also find me on Spotify as well as Apple and Google Podcasts. It's your boy Pat. Peace. Catch you on the next one.